Hello everyone. This is our entry for the NSS Ideathon Streets for Life. Let's look at some road accident stats for India. Around 1,214 road crashes occur every day in India. This translates into one death every 4 minutes due to road accidents. One serious accident happens every minute, and 16 people die on Indian roads every hour. 20 children under the age of 14 die every day due to road crashes in this country. Why does this happen? Let's examine the situation. Since 2000, while road network in the country has grown by 39%, the number of registered vehicles has grown by about 150%. This constant increase in the number of vehicles has led to congestion, which in turn leads to way more road fatalities. Majority of the accidents are caused due to the driver's fault. This includes overspeeding, driving under the influence of alcohol and or drugs, and hit and run cases. Other cases include fault of others, such as fault of other pedestrians, cyclists, or other drivers, neglect of civic bodies, defect in the motor vehicle the driver was driving, and poor weather conditions. While highways comprise about 5% of the total road network, they witness around 50% of the accidents. This can be attributed to the higher vehicle speeds and the higher volume of traffic present there. So now let's come to our proposal. Our proposal is a very simple one. It is very similar to the one which is presented by WHO, limiting the speed limit of all vehicles to 30 km in cities. Now we will try to justify this above proposal by presenting a few myths, and then debunking them using facts that are supported by statistics. So now let's look at the first myth. 30 km per hour limits are not popular. The fact is that lower speed streets help to reduce the congestion and hence are widely popular. A recent global poll found that around 74% of the people support such speed restrictions around schools for the safety of children. There are also significant health benefits for slowing traffic, which includes supporting a shift to active lifestyles through walking and cycling. This slower traffic also reduces road danger and improves social cohesion.
Carrying on, another myth that exists about the 30 km/h proposal is that it will increase journey times. But the fact is that, especially in urban situations, the peak speed between junctions rarely impacts the journey times. This has more or less been proved by the real world test, which shows that in typical urban journeys, the time difference between driving at a maximum of 30 km/h or 50 km/h is minimal. Congestion and time spent waiting at traffic signals are often more significant on journey times than the speeds at which vehicles travel between them. Moving on, the next myth that comes to mind is that 30 km/h limits work only for certain countries. But the fact is that it's almost effective for all countries. Even though majority of countries have low speed limits, which the most of the countries that have low speed limits are developed countries, it has been proved to work in almost all countries that where they have been imposed. Many parts of Africa, North America, Europe, Latin America, and Asia have been able to implement this successfully. Especially when we take a case about the country Tanzania, it has started out with places around schools, and this proposal has actually won prestigious Rose Prize for its implementation in the cities. Another myth then comes to mind is that 30 km/h restrictions are anti-motorists, but the fact is they cut congestion on roads and actually ease out traffic. As mentioned above, they cut traffic congestions and are actually helpful in reducing health hazard to motorists, which occur due to the emissions from the vehicles. This thus promotes green and clean roads Uh, Also, many motoring groups across a lot of countries around the world have been shown to support these speed restrictions. And an example of this is RAC, which is the Royal um, Motoring Group, which exists in Australia. And this has supported this proposal in the country. Moving on, the next myth that comes to mind is that low speed limits are to just gain income from fines. But the fact is, the enforcement is being imposed only because high speeds and reckless driving are really common in a lot of countries and lead to a lot of road accidents. 30 kilometer per hour is actually found to be the highest speed that can be safe in streets and for well, safe driving in a lot of roads. Most roads are made self enforcing with road warning signs, speed humps, road markings, etc. Some measures, such as enabling space for trees and marking routes for pedestrians, not only restrict speed but also improve the street scene.
Carrying on. So the next myth is that the 30 kilometer per hour limits increase vehicle emissions. Now, even technically, if you look at this, this is wrong because going at lower speeds imply lower fuel consumption, which implies lower emissions. But even if you look at a recent study that was conducted in a 20 miles per hour zone in London, they found no negative impact on the environment. That is, the pollution levels were found to be similar before and after implementing the restrictions. A similar result was found in a study in a similar zone in Belgium. In low speed streets, vehicles, obviously, we can expect vehicles to move more smoothly for the traffic to be more smooth. And this means lesser accelerations and decelerations, that is, lesser starts and stops. This obviously implies lower pollution, lower emissions. And finally, to add, speed bumps do technically increase the pollution because of the increased acceleration, but the impact of these have found to be low and almost negligible. Now, after all these myths and facts, we got to ask the question: is the 30 kilometer per hour limit enough? Is it the holy grail? And the answer is no. It is definitely a step in the right direction, but considering the variety on the plethora of problems that cause road accidents, there are many other measures that have to be implemented, some of which are imposing stricter speed restrictions in accident prone regions and near schools or colleges. Now, the government, using the necessary data, has to properly identify these accident sensitive areas and take the required measures, which may include speed restrictions, speed humps, vehicle restrictions, etc. The next point is a collaboration with National Research Institute, the IITs, the NITs, the IISCs, to come up with technical solutions for solving various road safety issues. Uh, yeah, so these technical innovations can be life changing. They can also be long term solutions in permanently solving these issues. And what we need to do next is to improve the post accident emergency care, to reduce the number of deaths that occur from accidents. This is done by providing swift ambulance service and vital first aid during the golden hour. The golden hour refers to the first hour after the accident, which many doctors and researchers have said to be very, very important in the survival of the victim. Ambivan is a startup that focuses on providing post accident emergency care. It basically involves automatic detection of the accident using the speed parameters of the vehicle. It then immediately contacts the ambulance, which uh, comes immediately, and it has been very vital in saving so many lives. And of course, previous slide. And of course, we need to conduct more activities and aggressive campaigns to raise road safety awareness. This, especially among the new license holders who have to be instilled with values and principles that have to be followed while driving on the road. Carrying on, next what I thought of was stricter punishment for offenses such as drinking and driving, sleeping at the wheel. These cause so many accidents and deaths on an annual basis. So the punishments can be strict enough to include cancellation of the driver's license and even impounding their vehicles. We need to also conduct more frequent vehicle fitness tests, and this not only helps tackle pollution but also ensures that they are fit to be driven on the road. Now, next, what I'm about to talk about is a very frustrating problem on Indian roads, and that is improper parking. It causes a lot of congestion and traffic, especially on so many narrow roads. So this is mainly due to poor parking techniques by drivers, especially new drivers. So what we could do is add parking as one of the main facets of a driving test. Furthermore, roads with crowded, this is another point to tackle congestion. Roads with crowded marketplaces on either side should not allow any kind of vehicles. They should travel, if they want to go on that road, they have to travel by foot or by cycle, but vehicles should not be allowed because they add to the congestion. And lastly, we need to have initiatives to widen the roads and highways of the country. This involves adding multiple tracks, with each track having its own speed limit on vehicle size, etc. It should be a game changer in reducing congestion. Thank you.